new possibilities for learning by homeschooling. On our 17th year, TMA Homeschool is now Homeschool Global, and our vision is to become truly global. We are in 25 cities in the Philippines and 21 countries around the world. At Homeschool Global, we want to bring down barriers to learning by engaging the whole family.
I really love homeschooling because it gives me the chance to bond with my family and my mom a lot. And I really understand it more if my mom teaches me.
The closeness that is developed when you're spending time 24/7 with each family member. So we get to respect and really appreciate our strengths and weaknesses and work on that.
And also during homeschooling, it's fun because I get to be taught by my parents.
I always question, why doesn't my son know how to play basketball? Why doesn't my son know how to do certain things? My questions are being answered by me intentionally teaching them. That's what's nice about homeschooling right now.
Academic advisors stay in touch with global families through mobile or the internet.
Jaimasi from Kathmandu, Nepal. Portfolio reviews on Skype are means to get connected to and to know their families. And I challenge every student to enhance their critical thinking and focus on how every learning experience would translate to life application.
At Homeschool Global, academic advisors and family advisors walk alongside while you remain hands-on. Have power to be free and flexible.
I also like the part that we can change the curriculum to pattern the different styles of my kids. I have 4 kids. They have different learning styles. And what I appreciate really is I can change in the middle of homeschooling if the book is not working for them.
Choose your child's books from a range of options, from US or local sources.
Before, I thought, close na kami. I thought, we're already so involved with our kids, only to realize that I don't know them. I don't know my kids, but with the homeschooling, I got to know them. I got to know each of their personality and how each one responds to us and how they're wired. As a parent, as a mom, I also was able to change like how I approach my children. And the benefit is that we're bonded, we're closer.
Be empowered to spot and nurture emerging interests of your child.
Homeschooling allows us to go to piano lessons at a flexible time. Like, it doesn't have to be after school, it can be in the morning. And then my husband travels a lot, so there are times when he brings us along, and schooling is not a problem because he doesn't go to regular school. So we can all go together, and that's something because it allows families to bond together.
Focus on character first and build godly values.
The most important thing for me is being able to teach them values and about God most of the time.
We have family devotions every week, so I feel like if we go to a regular school, we won't be able to do that. So that's special.
At Homeschool Global, your journey takes you on a clear path to learning without borders.
Homeschooling is not easy.
It's not.
It's difficult, but it's more fulfilling.
I love homeschooling because I want to learn more.
We are Homeschool Global. Homeschool with us and learn without borders.
These days, more and more parents are considering homeschooling as an alternative to educate their children. And to help us understand more about homeschooling, how it really works and all, we actually have the woman behind teachwithjoy.com, Miss Joy Mendoza. Hi, Joy!
Hello!
Welcome to our show!
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Hi, Joy.
Okay, no better person to talk to us about homeschooling, but let's begin with what is homeschooling? Let's define that first.
Okay, well, in one sense, homeschooling is you as a parent taking education under your responsibility. But in another sense, I also believe it's an extension of your parenting, because when your child is young, you teach them everything. And so why not add on the academics part?
Right.
So for me, it's just another way to look at parenting. But
Parenting plus.
Yes, parenting plus, but it incorporates also educating them in the academics.
Just describe a day.
Okay,
A day in the
run
life
us-
of
run
a
us through.
homeschooling
Okay.
home.
Normally, we would start around 8:30 or 9 in the morning, and we finish by 12.
Okay.
But there's other aspects to it. Like in the afternoons, the kids will probably practice their violin. They'll do outdoor activities. They might do science experiments on their own. But the formal instruction part, where I am physically there with them and making sure that they do their work, would happen for just those few hours in the morning. And then in the afternoon, I rest. I take a nap sometimes because I'm tired. I'm tired. And then on Wednesdays, they have a play group. So we get together with other children, like 40 other kids and their families, and we team teach as moms.
Right.
Okay.
So one mom will teach art theory, one mom music theory, another one will teach culinary arts,
That is
and then
an
we have physical
amazing way
fitness.
to introduce
So-
different subjects to
Yes.
your
Yes.
child.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow. What made you decide to actually homeschool your children?
Well, I think it really begins with what your goals are for your kids, and I think parents need to begin there, because a lot of times we just send our kids to an educational institution assuming that this is what every other child does, so this is what I should do. But you really need to begin first with what is education for your family, and what are you educating your child towards. And in our case, we really believe in raising our kids to love God with all that they are, and to really follow Him.
Right.
And so then we went back and thought, what would be the best sort of environment to raise them to do that? And as we researched about, and I was homeschooled when I was younger for some years, and I realized when I was growing up, one of the best ways that my parents passed on values to us and our Christian heritage was through homeschooling. And so when I became a parent, and Edric and I, my husband, we were aligned on this and the goals that we had for our kids, then we decided, well, homeschooling can help us best accomplish that, because we don't have to compete with peer influence, with different worldviews. We want to raise our children with a biblical worldview.
Yes.
But how are they when it comes to with kids their age? I mean, how do they act?
Like, are they weird? And
Are they weird, or
do they not play? Or, I mean,
especially I think if you're homeschooling an only child. And so this is where you as a parent have to also kind of find other homeschooling moms who you can hang out with.
Like what you do.
Like what I was sharing with you guys earlier, we have a play group. And honestly, in the Philippines, we don't run out of social activities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
we are very. we're a very social nation.
Cousins, second cousin, third cousin parties.
Yeah.
So we are always with people, and I think that's one of the benefits of homeschooling in the Philippines.
But how do you know that the lessons that you teach your children are at par with the education that other children get from regular schooling?
Well, for example, in our play group, you can already tell. Like, when you see your children interact, for example, we have a speech class. So our kids had to prepare speeches, and they had to present it in front of all their classmates. So you can definitely see some kids are more confident, some kids are less confident. But then as a mom, you'll know when you see something like that, what you have to work on with them at home. And then you can also do things like get a checklist of skills that they have to learn.
Yeah, and I think it's very important that you have a community as well, right?
Yeah, the community
where you
is
can
important.
really base, or at least
Benchmark.
not really compare.
I think you just
but-
want to say, like, you need to have a benchmark.
Yeah.
Because what if you're just doing this on an island and you have no idea if your kids are even learning what they need to? Like that.
So does this make you feel confident that your children can face high school without having a hard time later on?
I think that what I do emphasize in homeschooling is the ability to read, comprehend, communicate clearly, and do critical thinking and problem solve.
Right.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, we do cover subjects, like what we do in the conventional school, because we're under an accredited program. On the other hand, however, I spend more time mastering the basics that they would need so that they can go anywhere. For example, my son Elijah, my 12-year-old, he really teaches himself. Because ever since he was little, I really worked with him on reading and comprehension skills.
So he's very independent.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it allows them to be independent because once they have those skills that they have mastered, which are so essential anywhere you go, then it doesn't matter what level they go to because they can take on the content.
How do you switch on your teacher mode and turn off your mommy mode?
You have to have a good relationship with your kids.
Right.
Because it's really in the context of relationship that your children will become receptive. There was, I attended this conference in Berlin once, and the speaker, who was a developmental psychologist, said, you know, when did your child first fall in love with you? Because we're never meant to instruct children whose hearts we don't have.
Okay.
So in other words, you have to have a relationship with them that's really good and solid, and then naturally they'll be responsive to you. But if your relationship is bad, like some moms, I don't recommend it, but some moms, they work most of the time and then they add homeschooling into their day. And
So
if you're
it
not
feels far.
Yes, it's so
and
if you're not
distant,
bonding with them constantly, it's hard to just all of a sudden switch on the
It's like directing.
teacher
Yeah.
hat, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So what about when they start throwing a fit and say, you know what, Mom, I don't want to study. I just don't want to listen.
And you get days like that.
Yes, of course.
Oh.
I mean, that does happen. It's natural, I think, in any home. However, what does help is you focus on the heart first before the head. Because if your child is not obedient, it's very hard to homeschool them. Why will they want to sit down and listen to what I have to say? Or why will they want to sit down and do something difficult? But of course, there's other things to consider. Sometimes moms are so ambitious that they give their kids really difficult work.
Ouch.
I mean, it's normal. We really want to make sure that they will excel, that they will do well.
Yeah, you just want the
So-
best for your kids,
Yeah.
right?
So you have a high standard, and so sometimes you're
Yes.
pushing them so hard academically. Or
Yes.
on the other hand, it could be a learning style issue where some children, they really just can't sit down for hours and they need lots of breaks. Like one of my sons, he's more kinesthetic. If he were in
Okay.
school, he might be labeled ADHD. However, at home,
He's not,
I was
right?
looking for him the other day and he was under the bed doing his work. And I asked him, "Are you doing your work?" And he said, "Yes, Mom, I'm almost done." So it's
It
very
is seen as a strength rather than
Yeah.
something that
Yes.
sets him back, right?
Yeah. Do you think that everyone can homeschool?
I think everyone can do it. However, I think we need to consider certain circumstances. Because the reality is when you're homeschooling, the mom does most of the teaching. So are moms willing to give up their career, for example? You really have to decide, and that's why I go back to what I shared earlier, which is what is your goal for your children? Because if you look at your goal, and then you have to ask yourself, how can we best achieve that as a family? Are we willing to give up another income if you're dual, so that me as a mom, I can homeschool, and then husband, you'll work harder, you know,
Yeah.
so you have to make those decisions.
Right.
What is more important to you? Now, there are certain, I mean, all of us have limitations. One mom may be teaching English, but her grammar is not very good. So what then? This is where you have to, you have to also be resourceful.
I can see so many benefits to this, but if you were to be asked, what's the best thing about homeschooling?
I think as moms, we only have a short season to really influence our children.
Oh no, you're gonna make us cry.
I think that
I always hear that. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
there's a certain timetable when their hearts are really receptive to us. And then eventually that door closes because they get interested in other things. But when they're little, they're so responsive. They want to be with mommy and daddy. They want to hear what we have to say. They appreciate our values.
I don't like things like this.
But as they get older, it does change. And so if we can make sure that relationship is really strong in the beginning and really impart those values that we want them to have, the convictions that we want them to have, like simple things like choosing the right friends, having a list in your mind of the kind of person you want to marry, which sometimes we address this when they're like teenagers and they've already committed their heart to somebody, and it's difficult to do that. But so while they're little, while we have that time, while they're very receptive to us, while they still want to listen to what we have to say, this for me is an opportune season, and it won't be there forever. I mean, I look at my 12-year-old son, and he's growing up, and
It's
it
different.
was just like yesterday that he was this little baby, and we were doing phonic sounds, you know. And
Check it's gonna cry already.
it's sobering to realize and ask yourself, have I done what I need to do? And so I don't want to be one of those moms that looks back on those years and think,
regret.
I should have been there. And I've talked to so many moms who are career women, and I've never heard a mom say, I wish I had really worked harder and really built my career more. They would tell me, Joy, if you have the opportunity to be with your kids, you be with them. Because looking back, I should have been there for my children. And so I don't want to be one of those moms. Now, I'm not saying that you should beat yourself up if you're not a homeschooling mom. Because there are realities to consider.
Right.
So pray about it. It's something you need to discuss with your husband. You need to be aligned. And you need to have that shared goal.
Thank you for being with us and for encouraging us about
My pleasure.
homeschooling.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joy. And you know what? I'm encouraged because Gavin's still not in school, so I'm encouraged to teach him.
Yeah.
So I still have
Experiment.
hope. Yeah, I can experiment.
We
on
have a
him.
lot of time.
Yeah.
Kendra's just 5.
You can already be a playgroup.
Yes.
Kids
Oh,
can
yeah,
get
that's
together.
right.
In the right path. Ayan, samantala, dahil speaking of kabataan at estudyante, nag-umpisa na nga ang klase nitong unang linggo ng Agosto at isa nga sa mga option ng ating mga magulang ay ang homeschooling. Pero dapat tinitiyak pa rin na legal ang operasyon nito.
Remember, 5 minutes like this.
Sa galing mag-compute ng math problems, hindi aakalaing ang 7 taong gulang na si Blake ay hindi pumapasok sa regular na eskwelahan. Siya ay homeschooling.
Yung homeschooling na to, it's the choice of the parents to educate their children at home. And of course, there are advantages to this effect. Meron din advantages. Just like yung bata can answer at his or her own pace and has more time for their family.
Kwento ni Tiffany na ina ni Blake na pagdesisyonan nila na i-homeschool ang bata noong 3 taong gulang ito.
Nag-experience na siya ng regular homeschooling. And then, I knew what he's capable of, but knowing my child, he's really very active. So when he's with other kids, parang he gets distracted. So homeschooling kasi is, most homeschoolers would call it hack schooling because we could tailor fit the lessons according to the child's talents and personalities. So it's for them, it's easier.
Bukod sa pagkakaroon ng mas mahabang panahon para sa pamilya kung homeschooled ang isang bata, nagagabayan at natututukan ng mabuti ng mga magulang ang mga anak sa kanilang pag-aaral. Pero dahil sa bahay naglalagi ang bata, maaaring magkulang ito sa social interaction. Kaya naman, para matugunan ito, dapat mag-enroll sa isang homeschooling program.
We work closely with families to organize family, cultural, sports, and academic activities, such as art class, as you can see here. We did family camping, we also did triathlon, and we also did Buonan Wika, cultural activities.
Kung pipiliing i-homeschool ang anak, dapat ay enrolled pa rin ito sa isang paaralang eksklusibong nag-aalok ng mga homeschooling program. Dapat din ay lehitimo at accredited ng Department of Education.
Kasi yung homeschooling na to, they cannot have the homeschooling without a regular school. So actually, doon sila kukuha. And of course, they will also enroll the child in the Learner Information System, or what we call the LIS. The curriculum should be aligned with the K-12. So with the modular na kung nagawa doon, naka-base din sa K-12 competencies.
Mayroon ding periodical test ang mga homeschooled na bata para masiguradong nakakasunod sila sa curriculum ng paaralan. Mga kapamilya, ano man ang mapiling paraan sa pag-eduka sa mga anak, ang mahalaga ay maibigay ang wastong edukasyon para sa kanilang kinabukasan. Happy viewing daw sa One Day.
I've waited all my life to be here face to face. I never knew that I could feel this kind of grace. The way you never be erased. It lives inside of me. Take me to that secret place where I can only see your face, and nothing else will ever feel this way. You take away my guilty stains, the things I've done that I can't change. It's only by the power of your name. I stand here in this place, see the glory on your face. I'm taken by the wonder of your name. I'm desperate for your touch, never needed it so much, 'cause all I want is you. When all the things around me fall into the ground, I'm always thankful for the love in you I found. So thankful. Take me to the secret place where I can only see your face, and nothing else will ever feel this way. You take away my guilty stains, the things I've done that I can't change.